Hello, everyone. So, on this channel, I have the honor of introducing to you Dr. AVN Anurag, rank 16 INICET November 2022. Awesome rank. Anurag, how are you feeling, beta? Super excited. I am very excited to meet you. What are the emotions that you have right now?
Yeah, it's a very satisfying. Yeah, sir, it's a very satisfying end to a very prolonged and protracted course of MBBS. I am definitely relieved, I should say, more than anything else. Yeah, this was my second attempt, and I was in the May exam. I secured rank 370. It was a good rank, but I was not satisfied with myself. Uh, yeah, this was a very good result for me, and it's a pleasant surprise for all of us. Very few people knew that I would be giving this exam, so yeah, this would be a surprise for all of them as well.
And I would love to hear your story. I'm sending you my congratulations at the beginning to you and your entire family. I think it's a super awesome achievement, beta. And tell me about, you started at DAMS with the foundation course in your third year in Guntur Center, and then you followed it up with the INICET TND on the eMedicoz app. Do you think starting early in a foundation course helped you? And what was your strategy then? And what was your strategy during the TND course?
So I started preparing for the entrance exam from later part of first year itself. But at that time, I was not very well oriented towards the exam. I used to try whatever I had. At that time, the online resources were not particularly, popular, or they were not into the mainstream. So I had to rely on different sources that I had. But it didn't work out very well. They were not the best sources, and then in third year I realized I needed a more organized way of preparing for the exam. So I came across the foundation course of DAMS, and I found that it has the faculty have explained the concepts, basic concepts, very well, and and I could clearly see the difference between the guidebooks which I used to read in the first year and second year, and then this foundation course. And then again, we had COVID in 2020, and somehow I tried to complete the notes of almost all the subjects by the end of my final year. There were few short subjects which were left behind. Otherwise, my plan was to have a complete set of notes at the end of final year. So at the commencement of internship, I started giving grantees, and then I started revising notes. My original plan was to finish off the syllabus in the first 6 months of internship and then go on with one or two revisions. But again, that didn't happen. I was from a government medical college, and as many of the viewers would know, it's a hectic internship. So I was able to go through the whole syllabus once, and I was able to revise using AIMS, DAMS AIMS capsule. And also various discussions, and I used to take grant tests regularly and solve MCQs regularly. My aim was to solve three modules every day, but it didn't always happen. However, I always tried to remain consistent, whether it was in internship or in MBBS. Uh, in the May exam, which is 1 month after my internship, I secured rank 370 in the INICET exam and rank 231 in the NEETPG exam. So I always wanted to get into the central institutes from day one of MBBS. So that for me was kind of a disappointment. It was actually a good, though it was a good rank. I found that to be a little disappointing. And then it was then that I came across the INICET TND. I approached you, and you advised INICET TND, and also giving grant tests every 7 to 10 days. And it seemed to be a very simple piece of advice at that time, but immediately it made a huge difference in my preparation. From rank 370, immediately in the next GT, I jumped to rank 43, and from then onwards my worst rank in INICET type model tests was 23, and my best rank was 3. So I was always in that range when I was practicing. And another technique that you emphasized even in your video in YouTube was to give each and every exam, complete it within 2.5 hours. So the point was to develop those killer instincts, to be able to answer the questions, to catch the clues, and save the time whenever possible. And also after the May exam, I realized the importance of previous year's questions. For the May exam, I had very limited time as an intern. So I had to choose between revising important topics once versus the previous year's exam. I didn't give a lot of importance at that time. But then after the exam, I realized that there will be 10 to 15 repeats directly, and 30 to 40% of the questions are repeats from the previous year's topics. So so looking at that, I specifically prepared for the previous year's exam, spending 2 hours every day on previous year's topics and the topics surrounding that. With reference to the standard books, I categorize the standard books into two types. One is the books like Robbins, which we can finish in the time provided in the curriculum, and there are others like Harrison and Goodman Gilman, which are difficult to read from cover to cover in the time given in the undergraduate curriculum. So in the second category, I used to choose topics which are important, which are the prototype topics of that particular system, and I used to read those topics in detail. And with reference to the other topics which are not extremely important, I used to skim through the contents and add the additional points to my notes. That
I think
was my strategy in a nutshell.
perfect. I think you have given a detailed strategy to anybody who is listening to you would learn a lot of things. I would summarize it in three things. He started early, made notes. He referred to good quality books. If the books were too big, he only referred to them. Otherwise, if it was important for prof, he did it during the MBBS. If it was like a Goodman Gilman, which is massive, he only referred to the important topics if he required to. Then another thing he did right was he gave a lot of tests. I'm so happy that you followed my advice. Give a lot of tests, makes your skill sharper. And third is he managed his time well during the paper. I will ask him, which set did you appear for this year?
Sorry, sir.
Morning, which set was it, morning or evening?
My
Which
my test was evening test, sir.
evening test? And how many did you attempt?
I attempted 195.
And how many could you get right? Any approximate guesses?
Well, I haven't gone through the recall discussions yet, but probably 160 to 170 would be accurate number range.
Were you happy with the DAMS CBTs conducted in computer centers where you could get the real exam feel?
Yes, sir. Actually, the interface in the CBT was mirroring the interface of the exam this time in the INICET, and also it replicated the experience of the exam definitely.
I think we are the only people who could predict the actual feeling of the paper. I'm so proud of this actually. The entire academic team, credit goes to the entire team which is planning all this. And I also want, Bache, I want from you to tell us that you told in length about the academic planning that you did. But what about the mindset? How did you manage your mindset? Were there any ups and downs in the entire process?
Definitely, sir. It was a huge roller coaster ride, especially since I have been preparing from first year. Should also deal with the burnout that entails such a prolonged preparation. So my first half of MBBS, I always tried to be disciplined. I was giving my best. I was giving my best shot. But little did I know that after some time it would take a toll on my health for a brief period, at least. And then I at the timing was so precise that I realized at the beginning of the pandemic what my priorities really are, and that I should not try to overload my system. I had to be organic and be focused in my efforts. And then I kind of balanced things out after around 4.5 to 5 years of MBBS. And then I realized that it's okay to have a lot of fluctuations, and that our plans should accommodate those fluctuations. Any biological system is supposed to have fluctuations, and we must acknowledge that and move forward. That is what I realized during the pandemic, and then planned accordingly and executed.
I think the key word here is to build the momentum. I think that is very important. Don't burn out by pushing in the initial phases, and by the time you reach the exam, you are on a downslope. It should be building up the momentum. And that is a very important message for all the future aspirants also, that it is important to keep the balance in life. It is important to go slow, 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 then build the momentum towards the exam. I am very happy that, Anurag, you brought up this point. Anurag, I also want to know from you that you know this is like a difficultish zone of life. It's not easy. And any particular advices you want to give to future aspirants regarding the mindset during the final 6 months or before the paper, or final 3 months before the paper?
I think one has to be no, one has to have a lot of faith that only the best will happen to us. We'll not get less than what we deserve, and we have to keep going. We have to have hope that we can always become a better version of ourselves. And we don't know what is in store for us, in spite of what is happening, whether it's good, bad, pleasant, or unpleasant. That only the best is going to happen. In the May exam was a huge disappointment for me. I think I have uh, especially my family has made a lot of sacrifices, we have made a lot of sacrifices, but it was a huge disappointment. uh, and then I never expected things to turn around and end up like this. Usually counseling would have happened 4 months earlier, and I would not have had this opportunity. But somehow I knew that I would make this happen, no matter what. And even if it didn't happen, maybe in the future I would get a chance to get into the central institutes. So yeah, you don't know what these small events would lead to in the long run, and that it is we are part of a bigger plan.
I think we all need to believe that we are a part of a bigger plan, beautifully worded. And या तो अगर वो बड़े प्लान का पार्ट है तो या तो सही है, खराब कैसे हो सकता है ना? So there would be something happening in future which might be good for us. I think beautiful message, beta. Can I congratulate your family and parents also if they're around?
Yes, sir, they are here.
नमस्ते सर, नमस्ते।
नमस्ते, congratulations. बहुत बहुत ही मेरे को लगता है बहुत
Just a
बड़ी
minute.
बात है.
One. नमस्ते सर।
नमस्ते. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
नमस्ते।
आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे?
हेलो।
हाँ जी, मैं कह रहा हूँ आप सुन पा रहे हैं, मैं आपको सुन पा रहा हूँ. एनी
हाँ हाँ
मैसेज
हाँ
दैट
सर, आपका जो टेस्ट एंड डिस्कशन था वो इट वाज वेरी यूजफुल सर, एंड द फ्रेज यू टोल्ड करना ही करना है, सो एवरी
हाँ
डे आई यूज्ड टू रिमाइंड हिम ऑफ दैट। आई यूज्ड टू टेल हिम, अनुराग तुझे करना ही करना है, जैसे आप बोले थे ना। So
जी
I
जी.
always used to tell him, Anurag, जैसे सर बोले हैं and मैडम भी तुमको इतना encourage कर रहे हैं, so you have to listen to them. So every day he used to watch your videos also. So it was really wonderful, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
थैंक यू एंड हार्टिएस्ट कांग्रेचुलेशंस. अब आई
Sir,
थिंक बच्चे का हार्टिएस्ट कांग्रेचुलेशंस, बच्चे का सपना
sir,
पूरा हो गया.
no, I'm not. It's not clear. Hello.
हेलो, कांग्रेचुलेशंस. मैं कह रहा हूँ बच्चे का
Thank you,
सपना
sir.
पूरा हो
Thank
गया.
you. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू, थैंक यू.
Well, I forgot to mention that both my parents are doctors. My father was a gastroenterologist, and he completed his DM from PGI Chandigarh.
So you are following his now footsteps. I'm saying you are going to follow his footsteps now.
Yes,
And any
thank you,
thoughts on which branch do you want to take?
sir. I am interested in internal medicine, and
Definitely you will do it. And any messages, any final message for the future aspirants?
well, well, I think it's important to start early. Remain consistent, have faith, believe in the process. Uh, uh, try to do the right thing at every step, irrespective of what happened in the past. Stay away from regrets and guilt, unnecessary guilt. It just drains your energy. The past is just garbage, except for the lessons. And then just go out, give your best, and enjoy yourself.
So forget the emotion, don't have the guilt, but remember the lesson and have no regrets in future. On this beautiful note, we end this interview. Anurag, I'm sending you all my blessings, all my congratulations, and I'm very proud of you. God bless you. Keep rocking and keep, making sure that your parents' name is, even furthered up by, your efforts.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for having me.
God bless, beta. Bye, beta.